to Thoughts from a Bookworm. I'm Abigail Grace. Today we are going to be talking about the very first chronological installment of the Lunar Chronicles, which is Fairest. Fairest documents Leanna's backstory, starts when she's 15 years old and goes until she's 25. So we get a good 10-year chunk of time in her life, period. And it's rough. I have so many mixed feelings about this book, to be honest. It's one of those books where it's very well written. I have nothing against the writing style or the author. I love Marissa Meyer's writing style. She is my favorite author in that sense. I just think her writing style is amazing. But the book itself is just it's very sad. And it's a villain origin story, so I think that it's like supposed to be sad. I just almost wish that we would have gotten all that information because it's a relatively thin book. I wish that we would have gotten all that information through the eyes of the other characters, Winter specifically, even Jason, even giving some like Leanna flashbacks like in Cress and in Winter when we get some more Leanna POV chapters. I just didn't, there's nothing that compels me to read that book again. Like I said, it was well written, so I don't have anything. It's like, oh, it was cringe, it was this, it was that. There were moments in Leanna's story where I did genuinely get secondhand embarrassment, but that was just because of the nature of who Leanna is. But I don't know, there's nothing that compels me to want to read it again because it's so sad and dark and depressing and just ends on a note of no hope. Like, everybody's dead, Winter's orphaned, Leanna is alone once again. I mean, she's kind of always been alone, but now she actually realizes that she's alone. Like, it's just a very sad, sad story. It was very interesting and very fun, though, I will admit, to get into the lunar background, the lunar culture, the lunar aristocracy. I think that's how you say that word. And how, you know, there's very distinct classes in lunar society. And we're told that, and we are showed that a little bit in Winter, but in in Fairest, I feel like we get it even more than we did in the other characters, so that aspect was really cool. I love the Easter eggs throughout it that tie into later scenes. We get a Dr. Darnell name drop at one point after Leanna and Everett are married and Leanna's trying to get pregnant. We kind of get, I don't know if that would technically be an Easter egg, but it's mentioned in either Cinder or Winter. I think in Winter, when Kai and Leanna actually get married, that, oh, somebody says, I think it was Torrin that told Kai, oh, well, she'll need to keep you around long enough for her to have a baby, which is creepy. But then in Fairest, it's very obvious that Leanna can't get pregnant because she's like been, you know, trying. I hate that. So we get Dr. Daniel name dropped. He and his wife are pregnant. Shannery obviously gets pregnant with Cinder. There's just some very fun little Easter eggs, the whole Shannery cutting off her maid's feet so that she has nothing better to do than sew her dresses all day, the start of the leishmaniasis disease, the wolf program, although the wolf program was started by Leanna's parents, I believe. But we just see little tidbits in that. And one thing that I do appreciate as for Leanna, around Leanna, is that she is a good villain. I was so happy that Marissa Meyer didn't make Leanna out into a victim who's just misunderstood. She really is good. She just needs some of this. She just needs some of that. I will admit Leanna was definitely abused. She definitely had some issues, and she was, I would say she was a victim in her childhood. She was a victim of abuse. She was a victim of lack of love. She was a victim of lunar society. Like, she was a victim. But by the end of the book, I did not feel sorry for her. And I thought, okay, you know what, sister? You brought this on yourself. Which I appreciate, because I can appreciate Leanna as a good villain without feeling like, oh, well, she's not really a villain. She's just kind of whining about, like, she was a very well-written villain. And I like that we see that, the start of that, from when she was 15 years old. And even as Shannery is queen and is doing this and doing that, Shannery doesn't really care about being queen. Well, she cares about being queen in that she wants it for the title of it, and she wants it for the pretty dresses and the dancing and the parties and this and that. She doesn't care about growing Luna's as a kingdom. She doesn't care about developing Luna as a country. She's just kind of focused on herself, versus Leanna, who is also focused on it for herself, but she's focused on it for herself in a twisted, others-centered type of, well, no, she's not really others-centered. Leanna is looking at the big picture versus Shannery is just looking at the now. So whereas Shannery is thinking, oh, I don't care, just everybody else deal with the plague, deal, the shells, the thaumaturges, that Leanna is seeing, oh, this is what we're doing. We're going to create a plague, and we're going to infect Earth with it, and then we're going to swoop in like the superheroes we are and provide them with the perfect antidote, and it's going to be perfect, and it's brilliant. Leanna's thinking 10 steps ahead, which again is cool. She's a cool villain. She's thoughtful. She's strategic. She's not dumb like Shannery. Shannery was a villain too, but Shannery was kind of an airhead. She was stupid and flighty and, you know, wanted to do things how she wanted to do them, versus Leanna was very, in addition to her stupidity, she was also very clever. She was very crafty. I think it's absolutely adorable that we get tiny little snippets of baby Cinder/Celine, Winter, and Jason playing. I saw the cutest fan art picture of the three of them at, I think it was Celine's 3rd birthday party, where they're all like sitting around the cake, and Winter and Celine are trying to blow the candles out, but they're not, and so then angry Jason just comes in and blows it out. But I saw the cutest little fan art picture of that, and it was just so cute, and I love that we just see a little, you know, cute cousins hanging out and friends and playing together and stuff like that. I think in Cress, when Leanna tried to marry Kai the first time, we're given just like the teeniest little insight into her wedding rings, because she has one on one hand, and she has her first husband's on one hand, and then Kai's on the other, and she says something, or she's internalizing something about her first love, or nobody will replace her for, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it kind of like piqued my interest when I read that. I was like, oh, wait a second, is there any humanity in Leanna, or is she just a cold-hearted villain for the sake of being a villain? And then in Fairest, we're seeing, no, she loved Everett as much as she was capable of loving someone. And I don't even know, honestly, if it was actual love, or if it was lust or infatuation. I don't really know, but whatever it was, she was convinced that it was actually genuinely love, that she actually did genuinely love Everett. Everett, we know, never loved her. He was terrified of her, rightfully so. She was 15 when she first started hitting on him. We're not told how old he is, but I mean he's got to be at least 20. Like, at the youngest, he has to be 20. I'm thinking he's at least 25, because there was brief mentions of him having served her parents, him knowing her when she was not a child, but like younger. So he's in the 20-25 age range. Now, he's not the one who's, you know, going after her, so he's not a predator, he's not creepy, but just from Leanna's point of view, that she's this 15-year-old kid who thinks she's in love with this 20-25-year-old married man about to be a father. Like, it's just so twisted and perverted, and as a villain, it's brilliant. Like, it's just so, I hate to say, like, it's so cool to see, because it's a villain and it's a level of perversion that I don't think is cute and cool and okay, but for a villain, it's very in-depth, it's very thought out, it's very planned, and it fits with the narrative. It's not, we've had 4 books of Leanna being evil. Granted, Fairest came out technically before Winter, but even though we have 3 or 4 books of seeing Leanna as just this cold-blooded murderer, villain person, and then we get Fairest, and it's like, oh, she was like that when she was 15 years old. Like, she's always been cold-hearted and willing to do whatever it took. So I just, as far as villain origin stories go, I feel like Leanna's was really good. It hit the mark. Like I said, the book itself, I have no problems with. I don't know that I would have the desire to read it again, just because I'm not a fan of books that leave me feeling hopeless and sad, and Fairest definitely left me feeling hopeless and sad. But it was a great origin story, and it was a good, true villain arc, which I love and I feel like is so rare today. And that's all I have, folks. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.